Hi, welcome to Chicks and Sticks Cigar guest of Nobleza Cigars. And I'm super excited. It's kind of a new cigar for me, but one that I really enjoy. So I'm going to be really excited to talk to him. So I hope that I'm going to have him talk about his cigars. And then I hope that you guys will have some questions for him, so we can talk about what makes his cigars so special, because they are pretty special. Okay, so we have a lot to talk about it, so let's get it started. Hi, welcome back. I'm going to go ahead and bring Kirk right in. Hello.
Hey, everybody. Hi, Paula.
Boy, it's so pretty and sunny where you are. I'm in the sinner's den, so it's very dark in here, but it's pretty where you are.
Yep, outside, just here out in Granada Hills, and we were visiting a couple customers, and figured it'd be a great spot to get outside.
Right?
Yeah.
So the first thing I want you to do is tell me, is it, because I pronounce it two different ways. Sometimes I say Nobleza and sometimes I say Nobleza. So tell me exactly how I should say it.
Nobleza.
Nobleza. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So the C is pronounced as an S.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's good, because a lot of people are like, how do you say that? So now I'll know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm really excited. So I've got a couple comments here. A couple people have said, I love these cigars. So
Thank you.
Yep. So they're fairly new to me. I went to your launch.
You did?
Launched the cigar and totally enjoyed it, but I only had one cigar. And so then recently you and I met and I smoked a few more, and it's really a nice, like when you smoke it, you can tell it's a premium cigar. So tell me a little bit about how, I'd like to go way back. When did you, before we talk about your cigars, when did you start smoking? How did you start smoking cigars?
That's a great question. Oh boy, now you're walking me down memory lane right here. So let me see if I can put this together the best I can. So about 7-8 years ago, I was at a party at somebody's home, and I'd never smoked a cigar, but I've been around it my whole life. My dad smokes cigars. My uncles smoke them. All of our family friends, they're into them. I just never got it. I was younger. I just didn't really understand the charm. And one day I went to a party at somebody's home that was Cuban themed. And while I was there, they had cigar rollers. They had an entire table of people that were rolling cigars for the attendees. And I'd never seen a cigar rolled in my life. I didn't know they weren't made in machines. I had never really gotten to know much about them. And I watched this older man literally roll every one of those cigars in such a manner. It's kind of like watching an Italian in an Italian coffee shop make an espresso. Every movement is very particularly done, trained, and perfect. And it was a form of art to me. I was mesmerized. I literally spent a majority of the time watching this man roll these cigars. And he asked me eventually, he goes, why don't you try one? He goes, you're clearly very interested in it. I said, I would. I said, but I don't really know how. I don't know what to do. And he broke it down for me. He gave me a little lesson on the different types of leaves and the colors and all of this stuff, the flavors, what to see. I smoked my first cigar that evening, and I've been hooked since.
Wow. That
I
is a
spent
great story.
I spent the next few years going every couple days to a cigar bar or a cigar lounge or a shop and buying different types. I'd buy everything from the cheapest stuff to the most expensive. I tried it all. I wanted to know everything there was to know. I like to master things, and that was the next frontier for me.
Yeah.
And I just got hooked. And then, and you want me to talk about how my company came together? You want to ask me some more
Yes.
before we move forward?
No, that's a great next thing to talk about, I think. Yeah. So how did that love of cigars and that obsession turn into it's time for me to make cigars?
Okay, great question. So funny enough, the son of the people whose home I was at that did this entire event, him and I are very good friends. And he said we should take a trip, we should go somewhere. He was just getting out of school, and I said, let's go to Cuba. I've always wanted to go to Cuba. And I just had this obsession with cigars, and at this point, I wanted to go and see what this whole thing's about. So we decided to go to Cuba. And right before I went, I owned 2 cigars. I had 2 cigars and a little humidor. I came back with 375 cigars. Okay,
That's great.
I'm telling you, I had them split into every luggage. I was hooked. I went to every factory. I even got the chance to see the Laguito factory for Cohiba,
Okay.
and I experienced all of it, the history, the culture, the way it's done, and I saw the tradition that these people carry forward with every roller, every new person that gets into the business. I saw the field, and on that trip, on my second day, by sheer accident, I met my current business partner inside a lounge.
Wow.
And we had a conversation. We were talking. He helped me out to get me into a bunch of places, and we became really good friends. And my collection kept growing from there back. And I went to Cuba a few more times after that, and I just kept collecting them. And I would see that people are very polarized. They either smoke Cubans only or they smoke non-Cubans only.
Yeah.
Very few people cross over in between. And I never understood that. I said, why? Cigars can be great from anywhere. I've had cigars from the most unsuspecting countries that I thought were fantastic. So the Canary Islands, I mean, you name it, I've tried it all. So I said, why not bridge this gap? I said, the biggest issue, my partner and I were having this long-winded discussion, and this went on for a couple years. We were talking about what makes cigars special. Why is it that the cigars that we get that are what we call domestic, so anything made outside of Cuba, don't quite match up to the Cuban taste or the flavor? Is it the land? Is it the soil? Is it the way they do things? So after a while, we decided, why don't we try this? You're Nicaraguan, I'm into cigars. We're both into this. Let's give this a try. So we went to Nicaragua. We went to several tobacco plantations. We went to several distributors, and we started taking samples from each one to see what we like. And unfortunately, the business isn't as straight cut as we'd love for it to believe.
Right.
So we decided to grow our own product. I said, why not make it the way they do it in Cuba, the way they've all done this for all these years? Let's match the steps. Let's try it. Let's make our own thing. So we got a big piece of land, and we started doing this whole thing. And lo and behold, 5 years later, I'm standing here. We have a full factory, and we're with our product out in multiple stores.
Yeah.
And Nobleza was born.
Yeah. And that's a pretty short time period. That's great. So tell the story that you told me about the setback with the losing that entire crop of tobacco.
That's very interesting. Okay.
Because I don't think people realize that tobacco is related to that plant.
Okay. So we bought all of this land, and we wanted to get it ready for planting. Okay, so it's 180 acres. We're talking a large piece of property. But this land had not been planted on in over 100 years. So we were still doing soil testing. We were trying to figure out the right lighting. We had botanists going up and down this property. I mean, it was a very large process and time consuming. And it wasn't ready for planting just yet. And we said, why not? Let's try it somewhere else on a small scale and see what we can do, because we don't want to keep burning through years without doing anything. So the neighboring lot to our property, the man uses it to grow food, to grow things, and he had just planted a bunch of tomato plants. And he had cultivated, the plants were cleaned out, they prepared the land, we used the land for tobacco. So we plant our tobacco, and all the plants started getting sick, one after another. And we were confused. We had botanists running around in a circle. They're trying to figure out what's going on. You know, this is an immense project. We're talking 5-6 acres of tobacco. So we're planning and we're waiting and trying to see what to do. There were watering guys. I'm telling you, one of my partners slept there on the field every day for a couple of weeks to try and save this plant, because we have so much invested.
Right.
And it turned out that tomatoes and tobacco are related. It's a similar plant, and whatever affects tomatoes affects tobacco. So the previous plant had some plague on a few of the plants, but it wasn't disclosed to us. So we ended up losing literally all of our crop. The whole thing had to be leveled and restarted. And we were devastated. We were looking at each other. We're like, what are we doing?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a big setback that you have to kind of get past and overcome. That's monetary, and just you put your whole heart into that. So that's a big story to me. Like that's a big speed bump in the way.
you know the biggest difficulty is not a financial one. The thing is with finances, yes, it affects you financially. But if you're doing something promising, getting the money from somebody, investors, whatever it may be, is not that challenging. You can figure that out. But what it hurts the most is morale.
Yeah.
You have an entire group of people that are tied and so vested emotionally, mentally, financially into this project. And when everything fails, it's a very difficult pill to swallow.
Yeah.
So we decided to restart this, and I said, let's do it on our land. No one's planted anything there. Let's get it prepared, and for this coming year, we're going to do this right. And we did. And the product that came out, it took us 2 years, which was even more heartache, because by the time the product goes from seed to mouth, it takes 2 years. So for 2 years, you're sitting on pins and needles to find out whether or not your product's going to be good or bad or not good, or half good. So we did that, and it was pretty good. We actually were very happy with the first run that we did, and we continuously did this over the next 4 or 5 years, and the product only got better. Our process got smoother. Our plant, the results got even stronger. We were thrilled. So that really helped put the motivation back into the game for us.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that, well, let's talk about what the cigar's made of, and then maybe some flavor profiles and what you have in the line, because a lot of people don't know. Yeah.
Okay. So the tobacco is 100% Cuban seed. And when I say Cuban seed, I know a lot of brands, a lot of manufacturers out there say that they have Cuban seed tobacco. What that generally is that generations ago, somebody brought seeds from Cuba, and what they do is there's a process that they do while planting where they're able to take seeds. I don't know if they want to call it seeds, but there's a way to take the DNA of a plant that you've currently planted and convert that into more seeds and be able to keep growing and growing every year. So that's an entire industry in and of itself.
Okay.
So the tobacco, the Cuban seed that people are talking about, is seeds that they literally have gone to a store or to a botanist, and they said, we need this, and they provide it. and they
Okay.
start using it. We didn't do that because it's too many generations past, too many generations in Nicaraguan soil. It's different. We literally flew to Cuba, got whatever seeds they were using at that time, and that is where we started our tobacco brand. And that's what we've continued to do
Okay.
every year. We've
Interesting.
got so whatever Cuba is using for their cigars is what we use at our and there's good reason for that, and I'll tell you. The seeds that they use in Cuba are the most robust that there is in the industry, the most plague free because they're limited on resources, water, soil, nutrients, mulch. They don't have the financial resources, neither does the government, to be able to provide that.
Mhm.
So they've engineered seeds that are way above par.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where we
Makes
started with that
sense.
process. So it's all Cuban seed, but it is grown in our plantation in Matagalpa, Nicaragua. And every cigar that you smoke has tobacco that's come directly from our plantation. We are a full Chateau brand. So I don't buy tobacco from any other company or any other distributor like most companies out there and blend that into our cigar. It's whatever we grow is what we make.
Yeah. I was going to say, what do you think it is that makes your cigar so special? But you just answered it. And
Yeah,
part of
that's
it, and
definitely it.
part of it too is, and I've talked about this a lot of times on the show because I'm a boutique fan. I'm not, I mean, I like Cuban cigars, but I usually end up loving boutique cigars because of the absolute 100% heart and passion that's put into what they're doing. So like you making sure that you're getting the exact seeds, that you're growing your own tobacco, all of that. Um, you know, it definitely comes out in the flavor to me.
Thank you.
You can just taste that heart and that passion, I think, in there because you guys just put everything into it. And
Look, the
um,
industry is very challenging, Paula.
yeah,
Scaling is a challenge in and of itself. It's very difficult to maintain quality, consistency, and good production when you scale because of the fact of how much manpower this product takes and
yeah,
how many factors can affect this. And a lot of people haven't heard this part of the business. This
yeah,
is no different than a Rolls Royce. A Rolls Royce is fully handmade, well, at least they used to be. So, or if you buy a nice brand name product, a nice purse or something, every bag is going to be different than the one that sewer has done before because it's handmade. That's its beauty.
right,
But if you can't get the right leathers, you can't get the right materials, it becomes very difficult to maintain that consistency, and that's why the
yeah,
cost is in place. Tobacco is the same. Whatever we grow today may not taste anything like it tastes next year because the weather may be different. The temperature may have been 5 degrees hotter on average than it was the year
hmm
before. The
hmm
water supply, nutrients could be different. It'd change. But that's the beauty of our brand and what we
yeah,
do is that every time you smoke one, it may taste a little bit different than the one before. It'll
yeah,
still be pretty consistent, but it's going to have a charm that's a little bit different.
yeah. Which I find, yeah, it's like what you said. It's charming. It's the charming part of it.
Yes.
I agree. So tell them the three cigars you have and the names.
Sure. So I have 3 cigars. Unfortunately, they're not with me at this current moment in time, so I could display them to you. But we can definitely put up a flyer afterwards, and you could take a look. And if you want to share that with your viewers, so we have 3 cigars. We have a Burifara, which we call the El Baron, which is the Baron, and that is or another word they use more commonly in English is the Flying Pig, and that is a Figurado cigar. And that ones are medium full sticks. So it's going to have very good, strong hints of coffee, chocolate. It's going to have tons of flavor, but still have some strength. So for the
Yeah,
more avid smokers, they're
yeah.
going to enjoy that.
So I had that one last night.
Uh-huh.
I saw you at the cigar event, and that was because originally I had smoked the lighter one.
Yes.
Because I do have people who want a light cigar, and I wanted to see what that's like, but I'm not a light cigar smoker. So when I smoked that one last night, I was just like, yeah, that's my stick. It was
There you
really,
go.
really, really good. And I think that, um, somebody said these are pretty close to smoking a Cuban, and you do really see that comparison, I think, when you
Well,
smoke it.
that is
And
the finest compliment you can
yeah,
pay us. Thank you.
it's seriously, I mean, you don't need a Cuban if we got your sticks.
Oh,
um,
you're making me blush here, Paula. Thank you.
but you know what I love too is the great, like perfect draw, lots of smoke. I love that.
Thank you. That was definitely one of the major points, so one of the hills that we were prepared to die on for this brand. It
Yeah.
was consistency of construction. So all
Mm-hmm.
of my rollers are from Cuba. I did poach them from the best factories in Cuba. They have 30 years of experience combined, and I've brought them through. And the beauty of what they do is they can take any leaf, any form of tobacco that you give them, and they'll make something out of it because they have a very low waste format in Cuba. And we actually had to teach them, like, it's okay. We can waste some tobacco. It's not a problem. We're
Oh,
not limited on resources
yeah.
the way
So they
that we
were
were
trained
there.
to just be very like use every little piece, right?
Right, right. And we're not like that. I said, we only use the premium parts of everything.
Yeah.
And I said, the rest of it, like, well, what do we do with the rest of it? I said, don't worry about that. We'll use it for another project or we'll see what we do. But I said, we want every stick that goes out to be the best one you've made yet. So it just has to better with time. So what we did is we provided them with more infrastructure, more furniture, more of what they need. We make sure we're on top of everything. So there's no stress on them to have to work with subpar equipment, or, well, there's not really much equipment, but tables and
Yeah.
knives and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
So
So
you're based in LA, but where are the cigars being rolled?
in Matagalpa on our factory. So our plantation
Okay.
has it has multiple warehouses and spaces where they go ahead and they work. They have tables, we have a big humidor, a cool room, all of that.
Awesome. And how many rollers do you have?
Currently we have 4 rollers that are working for us,
Okay.
and we're expanding slowly on that. And the real reason why we're taking our time is that we want the roller that comes in to be conditioned to roll the way we like the product to be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes experience and that takes a lot of training for it to be right. We want them to throw their characteristics into it. And believe me, my rollers have come up with some of the coolest cigars, some of the best blends. And we really give them that freedom. We want them to
Yeah.
be able to be creative, but we need a consistent product. We're not trying to push for numbers, we're pushing for quality.
Yeah.
So
Well,
through time, it'll grow.
and did you tell us about all 3? No.
No, I made it through the El Baron. So
Yeah.
let me tell you
I
about
interrupted you.
Alicia. No problem. I'm plus me. I'm like, I think I've swallowed a radio because I don't think I stopped talking so far.
That's
So,
good. That makes it easier for me.
well, I'm glad I could help. So,
Yeah.
our very light stick or light to medium stick is our Elicio, which translates to heavenly. And this cigar is a cañonazo, so it's like a Toro in size, and it is our most flavorful cigar. You're going to get caramel, you're going to get hints of coffee, but a lot of chocolate and caramel. And it's very sweet from what we've seen. And that's what matches the Cuban style. See, Cuban cigars in general are quite sweet. They're not bitter. They're not as strong in flavor as a Nicaraguan or Honduran cigar. So that's the charm that we were after. And it's a perfect cigar to pair with, a cup of coffee, or if you're going to have it before a meal.
Yeah.
We love that one. It's something you could do while playing golf, because
Yeah.
it's not going to affect your game. You're not going to get dizzy.
Yeah.
And then at
Or
the
a
top of
morning
the,
cigar. I would smoke that in the morning.
oh, absolutely, that's my favorite
Because
time to smoke.
yeah, because it is flavorful but light. Yeah.
And at the end of the range, we have the El Conde, which means the Count, and appropriately named because it's very strong. It's a full-bodied cigar. Still has lots of flavor. You're going to get more terra firma from it. You're going to get more tobacco from that. You're going to, it's going to be a stronger smoke. That is for somebody who prefers strength over immediate flavor, but it's still very flavorful. So it's not going to be a boring cigar. It's just going to be a little stronger.
Perfect. So, and I'm just excited to tell everybody too that you're going to have your cigars here at Sinners.
I am. That's the plan.
So for those of you who live locally, you'll be able to come in here and get them. So if somebody wants to order your cigars because they're not close enough to Sinners, where's a good place for them to go?
Right onto our website, noblezatobacco.com.
Okay, perfect.
And we have all of our products available immediately, as well as some fantastic DuPont lighters and cutters if they wanted to go together. And we ship out right away, and I think they'll be very pleased. We pay all the tobacco taxes, so it'll make it a lot easier for anyone that's out of state to purchase. And we're happy to help.
And people in California.
Sure.
Not
every city has a lounge. California is difficult when it comes to smoking. So it's we're happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited. I can't wait to carry them. And I don't even have one to smoke today because you gave me a bag of them and I've smoked them all.
That's a good problem to have. We have tons more for you. Don't worry.
Candy or ice cream. I was like, well, I'm just going to smoke one. And then when I decided, hey, let's have you on the show on Thursday, I was like, I smoked all those cigars. So
I wish I knew.
I'm smoking my own cigar because I was like, I'm not going to talk to you and smoke somebody else's cigar. So I just smoked.
You know what? I will tell you. I did smoke your cigar, the one you gave me. I smoked it the same day. I went to my smoking room. I sat down. Towards the end of the day, I turned everything off, and I said, I want to enjoy the cigar. And I'll be honest, my expectations were low.
I'm sure they were.
And I hate to say that. I'm just very honest.
Yeah.
But my expectations were low, but it was actually a very good cigar.
Right?
I would have no trouble smoking one of those again.
It surprises you, right?
Yes.
I think a lot of people are surprised. I've had a lot of people order them, and they've all said, wow, it's actually good.
Believe me,
I didn't blend it.
Compliment from me, but it was very good.
Yeah, I didn't blend it, but apparently people think I did or something, and they're like, I'm not sure about this. But
you brought it to market, Paula. So that in and of itself, had it not been for you, no one would have tasted that stick. So it's fantastic, honest.
And it's changed a little bit since I got it in. Since it's aged, it's gotten a little deeper, but it has that real smoky, earthy
flavor. Yes.
Flavor, yeah. I always tell people it'd be good with steak or something grilled, barbecued.
For sure. Or a heavy bourbon, it would be fantastic.
Yeah.
With it, I will say this. Typically, a Nicaraguan cigar is, or even most of the cigars, Dominican Republic, Nicaraguan, Honduran, they're very strong in their flavor. You're going to taste a lot of ash when you smoke. It's just their nature, which is nothing wrong with that. That's all palate based. Right. Yours had quite a bit more sweetness than I anticipated.
Yeah.
Made me shaking my boots a little bit. I was like, oh, the
good. Right. Well, don't worry because there's only so many leaves. There's only so many cigars. There's basically, I think I have maybe 18 left in the box, and then that's it.
You're going to have to save me a couple because I'm going to take those off your hand.
Okay. I'll save you a couple. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised too. I did some tastings and I tasted some other cigars that he had for me to choose from. And when I smoked this one, I thought it's very different. I don't know. This has a very different. Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Good. That's fun. Well, and then I'll be doing another blend soon, but yeah. So anyway, yeah, I didn't have one of yours to smoke. So anyway.
We'll have to solve that problem.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Well, and to be honest, I did give one or two away to some of my regulars who are really into cigars and had them smoke them, and I got really great reviews back. So
That's
I,
fantastic. I'm so happy to hear that.
yeah,
We've worked so hard, Paula, and this industry is very challenging. And we've all had those moments where we can reconsider and say, are we headed in the right direction? Are we doing the right thing?
yeah, I'm
Is
sure.
this the
Yeah,
right way we're going about this? And for us to hear somebody that, just like at the event yesterday, somebody came up to me and said, I want to take a picture with you. And I'm like, for what? And the guy goes, I'm really happy with the product. I'm really
yeah,
impressed. You guys did a great job, and I want to have a picture to remember smoking such a great cigar. I was blown away. I'm like, no one asked me for this stuff, but this was so nice. It really helps us in our morale to continue doing what we do.
yeah.
So it's
I mean,
thank
it's
you
really an
so much
art, and
for
I think a
all
lot
the
of times you think, okay, I can make this great product, but I mean, it might be great and it'll be a good cigar, and that's what we're going to hope for. But then sometimes it exceeds that, and people are like, this is a really great cigar. And then you have to be prepared for that.
true,
Say,
true.
oh, thank you. So, yeah. I mean, I'll put some pictures on my Instagram too, so people can see it. But I mean, your bands are stunningly beautiful, and the
Thank you.
box. I mean, everything that you do is, it's a white with gold. It's very classy. It's very beautiful. Like,
Thank you.
I think
Thank
you
you.
can pull one of those out, like when people are smoking their David off and everything, and just be like, well, you know. It's a very
Thank you.
classy. It's
Thank
a
you.
very classy cigar. Yeah.
That is our ultimate goal.
Yeah.
We looked at the ranges of price and the ranges of luxury that's provided, or where the range is, and we decided that some of the cigars that are quite expensive, they go
Hmm.
$20 to $100. Some of them, they're not as many, but there's quite a
Hmm.
there's enough to take that into consideration. And we said we don't want to be in that category.
Hmm.
Though the work that we do is worthy of that price point, it's not where we want to be. We don't want to be in the unattainable category. We
Yeah.
want people to be able to enjoy what we have, because we're not working to, this is not a money company. This is a passion company. This
Yeah.
is something that we've put together. The more people that get their hands on it, the happier it makes us, and better it makes us at what we do. We want to
Yeah.
please the masses.
Yeah. I think that that's true. Like, it's really hard to get rich in this business. Even me as
Very
a
hard.
lounge
Yeah.
owner, I'm not going to get rich. It's a passion thing. It's something we do because we love it. And you don't feel like you're working because you're working your passion. And so,
I love this. I could hit 3, 4 lounges a day, smoke a cigar at every one, and I'd be like, all right, where's next? Where are we going next?
I know,
This is
right?
this is all we eat, dream, and think about. I mean, I've got my family thinking about it. Like, I took a picture. I took something. Maybe you could post it on your Instagram. Maybe it'll
Yeah.
go somewhere. We're so happy, and for it feels so good when you're on a track where people are supporting you. You feel like all this dark uncertainty is worth it to push through
Yeah.
and to get to the other side.
Yeah. And it
Support is
must
very
be,
important.
that's when it's nice to do those events and really hear that feedback from people who are trying it for the first time. And, everybody was smoking it last night. And I mean, that's really the pay off, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
the gratification of
yeah.
doing something right. In my previous line of work, never had that. So when somebody paid me a compliment the first time, I'll never forget it, on the cigar. I took a step back, and are you okay? What's the deal? What are you really trying to tell me?
Yeah.
So we were so happy, and my partners who are older and they've been in this industry for a long time, they they're so happy because their work is now paying off after 30 years of
Yeah.
being in this industry. It's coming alive. It's becoming something that's worth a legacy for them,
Hmm.
just like it is for me, and we're very grateful.
Yeah.
Everyone who's bought our product, who's supported us, who's even shared us on their page, or just said, hey, you're doing a good job. They have no idea how helpful that's been to us
Yeah.
and really how much that means to all of us.
Yeah. So quick question. Are you walking in a circle?
I pace a little
I
bit when
keep
I
seeing
talk.
the same tree go by.
All right, I'll stand still.
Don't make
I'll stand still
yourself
to go
dizzy.
ahead.
I was like,
That,
there's
that's
that
how I
tree
get my
again.
brain into thinking gear as I pace in a circle.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm excited that I get to carry your cigars too. And, I should tell people too, like, the price point is uh, right in there for a premium cigar. It is a premium cigar. When you smoke it, it's a premium cigar. It's not expensive, but it's not on the lower end either. So, and I think you explaining everything that's done and the extra kind of mile you go, all that costs money. Like,
Yes,
you're taking
it's
care to do all
immensely
this stuff.
expensive.
But I still think for the cigar, like when you smoke it, it's well worth the money.
Thank you.
Like,
Thank
it's
you.
not
That
one where
means a
you
lot.
smoke it and say, oh, this is overpriced. And there
We're
are
not
a
price
few of those.
gouging anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is not everybody, like, this is not your father's cigar that he used to buy for $3-4 and then we've
Yeah.
taken and we just put a new label on. This is an immensely expensive boutique thing. I mean, we've had years where all we've done is grow 2 acres of tobacco, which is not much in considering what you get as a yield. But
Mhm.
we really only felt comfortable with getting 2 acres worth of product and knowing that it's going to be good.
Yeah.
So we'd rather produce less and say, hey, we got great stuff. This is
Yeah.
all we got, though. You got to stick with us.
So you haven't been around very long. Are you, like, where are you? Are you on the East Coast yet? Or are you still kind of working?
We're in Southern California right now and online. So we're
Okay.
going to expand shortly, and we've
Okay.
already got plans to expand into multiple states that are around us: Nevada,
Okay.
Arizona, Oregon, Washington. We're trying to go for Minnesota. We've got multiple areas we want to attack. But
Yeah.
the real thing is the fastest way to kill a company is by growing too fast.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to sit back at any moment in time and have to make a video that's apologizing to all our customers saying we had to cut quality in order to make financial numbers.
Yeah.
And we're sorry, we hope we could gain your trust back. That's
Yeah.
not the way we work. We want to be the best that we could be. If it takes 3 times longer to get to where we want to be, that's okay. We're
Yeah.
prepared for the long haul. We're not going anywhere. This company is going to be around for a very long time. And my hope is that it'll get to where it needs to be.
Yeah.
That's our mission. But we'll take it one step at a time. We want to build the good foundation.
Yeah. And do you see yourself doing like little limited editions or specialties?
So I've got the next 3 years worth of limited releases already blended and put aside.
Oh, okay.
So that's why there's a cover on my boxes that says the story that's only for our once a year limited release. So
Okay.
we're not going to be the company that has 15 SKUs. We want to have a maximum of 4, maybe 5 SKUs at any
Yeah.
given time. And that is one of them that's going to be a limited release.
Okay.
And it's really going to be special. It's not going
Oh,
to be a relabeled, something that just sat in our humidor. It's going to be something that is going to be an entire experience in and of itself.
kind of like my cigar.
Exactly. Hard to find, special, really delivers.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I look forward to that. That's fun. And I think people like that. They like a cigar and they, when they fall in love with your cigar, they're going to like your cigar. But then when you come out with something unique, like a limited run, they're excited to try it. And
Paula, for us, we thought long and hard about what we want to do in terms of production. And I want to focus on the 3 or 4 that I have, and I want to better them every year. I don't want to spend a year making one, throw it out, and replace it with something else,
yeah.
and then throw that out. You can't get good at something if you only do it for a short period of time.
Yeah.
I want someone to smoke the cigar 5 years from now, pick one up off the shelf and be like, wow, this is even better than I remembered when I smoked it the first time. That's really what we're after.
Yeah. And your cigars have a Ecuadorian wrapper?
Yes.
Is
So the
that
only thing I don't grow on the plantation is wrapper, and that's because it
correct?
requires special shading and it requires special uh, amounts of water and care in order to come up with wrapper. And it's a complex step in this. Eventually, we would love to do that, but for
Yeah,
right now, I don't want to risk that. And in reality, Ecuador is the prime place to get
for wrappers.
wrapper.
Yeah.
They are the best in the business, and I use the finest Ecuadorian Habano wrapper that we could find. It's delicate, it's very Cubanesque, it's
Mhm.
not going to have a strong flavor that's going to throw off everything else that's inside the cigar. It's going
Yeah.
to really pairs well with what we're doing.
Yeah. So how do you learn to like I mean you start smoking cigars and then how do you learn to blend? Like that's got to be
You know,
how do you learn to balance what your filler is with your wrapper and you just have to make a million cigars and smoke them and be like too much of that? No, I don't care for
well,
that. I mean,
that is a great question, and I'm actually going to show you how we do that right now because it's
okay, cool.
the perfect opportunity to do so. So right here,
Okay.
you could see that I'm smoking a cigar that does not have my label on it. It just says 1503.
Okay.
So what we do is we have our blenders and our rollers. Actually, they work in a team, and they come up with a bunch of blends. So I will send them out, and I'll get a bunch of different wrappers, and we'll
Okay.
bring them in, and then I'll say, okay, take some of our tobacco from 2017, mix that with something, and they'll just start playing around, and we'll be like, the next few days, don't roll anything.
Okay.
Just focus on making something cool. See what you like. And rollers and blenders really have their hands on tobacco all day long. So they can touch everything, feel it, and they can get the aroma and they know what they're blending. So what will happen is they'll send us a bunch of samples and I will smoke through them with my partners and a couple trusted people that we work with. And then we'll say, oh, we really like 1503, or we like the color of 1504, or we like the flavors of
Okay.
this. We don't know what it is. We don't know what we're smoking yet. So
Okay.
that's how we really figure out every single
Yeah.
step of the way.
Yeah. And then they can control it if you say I'd like it a little sweeter, then they kind of know what it's like. I suppose it's like someone who cooks and they know spices and they're like, I mean, I guess
Precisely.
that's how I cook. I don't
Yeah.
really follow a recipe. It's like I smell it. I think it needs a little of this.
Right. That's
Ooh, I think
exactly
this
what
would
it
be,
is.
yeah. Yeah.
And it's writing it down and having the process in place to make sure you could repeat it and make sure the next one tastes just as good as the first one.
Yeah.
And then we'll go through multiple batches of the same product and we'll store them at different humidities, different temperatures, different things, and figure out how we end up with our blend.
Okay. Wow.
Very
So,
complex.
what a horrible job to have to sit there and try all those cigars.
I know, right? I know. I'm living the dream that way. I'm living the dream.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you. I mean, I'm on the other end, but it's the same thing. Yeah.
It's great.
Not a bad gig.
We're blessed. We're blessed to be able to do it, really.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Okay, that's very cool. That's I've always wondered that about blending because it's so complex and it's
Very much.
really about, I guess, who your blenders are and what they can come up with like that. So, and I guess also knowing you and what you're looking for. So when you give them feedback, they know how to.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So how often do you have to go down to the factory? Like how often are you here and how often do you?
I think last year during COVID, I was there 5 times.
Wow.
So I go quite often. The goal is not to go that often.
Yeah.
But we do go quite often. We have a great team in place.
Mm-hmm.
So that really helps us out. And we do go there. One of my partners is there all the time. And that's, been very important to us, very helpful. Uh-oh. Did I lose connection?
I just lost your picture, but I can still hear you. So that's good.
Boy. Okay. Let me see what happened here. There we go. Sorry, I pushed the wrong button.
No problem.
So, yeah, we go there quite often. One of my partners is there all the time. The other one goes once a month, and I go probably 4 to 5 times a year to go check on everything. But we have a great team in place, so it's all coming out great. We check quality. The minute the products show up, we all get together, we test it out, we make sure the quality meets our standards, and then we go from there.
Okay. Nice. So it's just a nice little story, but it's a short story. You got a lot to do yet, huh?
We do. Well, this is just the beginning. We're just at the front door. We barely put our foot inside the door, and now it's Now it's.
But I think once you have that first step, like you have a good product, now you can do these other things, right? I mean, yeah. So important to get that first product done, and yeah. Cool.
Thank you, Paula, for this opportunity.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. We're so excited to get started with you at the lounge. And this has been great. And I want to thank personally all the people viewing right now or that are going to view the video later. Thank you so much for your time and for giving us your attention. We know there's so much better you could be doing throughout your day, but it really means a lot to us.
You know, I do a lot of reviews. So I smoke a lot of cigars. I do a lot of reviews. And if you read my reviews, you'll see that every cigar I review it, but I don't always say it's Chicks and Sticks approved. It gets a seal. Chicks and Sticks seal of approval. You know, I put little lips on there. They don't always get that. But I'm telling everybody, this is a stick you need to try. So this is a Chicks and Sticks approved stick. I'm telling you, don't miss out on this.
Thank you so much. That means the world to us.
I'm so excited to carry it. I can't even stand it.
Now we got to get you some to smoke.
I know.
It will be very soon.
I smoked them all like immediately. It was terrible.
That's great. That's what we want to hear.
I should have got one from you last night for the show today. I left it.
You should have. And I didn't.
God, why didn't I grab one?
Well, so I'll definitely have to drop some off to you very soon.
Yeah. Well, I will put some pictures up so people can see the labels because it's a really beautiful cigar and just wrap. The construction is perfect. And like I said, the smoking experience is, I like a lot of smoke. For me, the smoke is the flavor.
Yes.
You know, I hold smoke in my mouth. Some people blow it out immediately. I do hold smoke in my mouth. I don't retrohale. I do to try a cigar on retrohaling, but I don't retrohale because of my past with cancer. I just don't think it's a good idea for me. So I don't retrohale. So what I do is I hold the smoke in my mouth. So it's very important for me to have smoke volume because I'm really working that flavor. And I don't like a cigar that you smoke and you have to work at it. You know, it has a tough draw and then
I've had tons of those.
Not much smoke. I know, right? Yeah. So, I mean, yours just hits on everything. It's beautiful. The burn is perfect. The draw, the smoke output. I mean, it's Chicks and Sticks approved.
Thank you, Paula. That means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, and so I will put some pictures up on my Instagram so people can see how pretty it is. Although I might have to get them from your
not a problem.
Your Instagram because I don't have any.
I'll send you a bunch.
Okay, sounds good. Okay.
So,
well,
take care.
It was so great having you on. Thanks for stopping in.
Thank you, Paula. Okay, thank you so much.
Sure. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so there we have it. And like I said, I didn't have one to smoke here, but I think when you listen to him speak about what he's putting into this cigar, you see that come out into what they call premium sticks. So, you know, they talk about cigars being premium or a luxury cigar. I think luxury cigars, I don't know, they might be a little different than a premium cigar, but for me, a premium cigar means that everything is there. So the construction is there. the draw. They have had that all figured out, and the consistency. So, he was kind of talking about the difficulty with consistency and how that can be, you have to stay on top of it to maintain it. And also, I think, like he said too, you're constantly working on that to improve it. But when you just get one of his sticks and hold it in your hand, you see that it's a premium stick. So they retail like 17, 18, 19, something like in there. So that's kind of middle of the road, but it is well worth it. So I've had sticks at that price where I would probably never smoke them again. This is a stick I think you guys definitely need to try it. So you can go to his website if you want to order ahead. If you're here local, he's just waiting for my display box to come in. So they're being made at the moment. So I'll probably have his sticks in here in the next week or two. So if you're local, be sure and come in and try it. And like he said, he's got one for everybody. So he's got a mild, a medium strength, and a full. So, and they're all very flavorful, which is really nice. So even the lighter one has tons of flavor. So, I mean, that's a really nice one too. Okay, so I think that we are good to go. I'm glad that I could introduce him to you, and I can't even tell you, I really like the sticks, so I'm very excited about it. So, okay, so I will see you. I will not be doing a show next week because it's St. Patrick's Day, and we're going to be doing kind of celebrating here in the lounge, and so I will be busy, so I won't do a show next week, but I will be coming back the following week. And I'm not going to announce the guest yet because I have to make sure that he's on board, but it's also a new cigar brand that I'll be carrying here at Sinners. So that will be fun. So watch my Instagram and I'll let you know what that is. So I'm going to sign off. I'll see you in 2 weeks. And you know what I always say, be kind, keep reaching for your stars.